Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 249, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. I am Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It's going. It's a Friday afternoon. It is a heat wave in California.
Oh man, I'm feeling it. And I turned the AC off because I know you can hear it, in the recording. So yeah, I'm sitting here wondering why I kept my long sleeve shirt on.
I think in this particular instance, if you were to turn the AC on, I think our listeners would understand, lest you actually melt into a puddle.
See, in this, sometimes we imagine what they're saying back to us. I'm picturing someone in their car like, "Oh, will we?" No, we won't. Yeah, it's crazy hot though right now.
Yeah, it has been pretty hot, and what I read is that inland. So, I mean, you and I are both kind of coastal, but like the further in you get, I mean, it's agonizing. I mean, it's like nuclear winter.
Yeah,
or let me rephrase, pre-nuclear winter, because
right.
The stuff that happens before the winter. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was talking with a friend last night who's going up to the Bay Area this weekend, and they said it was going to be about 100 degrees, and I was like, the Bay Area gets 100 degrees? I didn't know. Like, I always thought it was.
Oh, it's bad. It can get bad.
Cooler. Yeah,
it's bad. I mean, in our previous place, there was no central air, and so we had to purchase a portable air conditioner because, I mean, civilization was collapsing inside my home.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Like make a tent by the refrigerator kind of thing,
yeah. And then the refrigerator burns out,
Yep.
It was bad, but hey, I'm right now. It's kind of nice. The air is going, and I'm on mic. I get to talk to you. So
yeah, no, this is great. It's been a full week, a good week, but a full week, and so this is like my weekend begins now. Getting to talk to you.
But what have you been doing other than writing?
Well, speaking of jobs, my past job working at Bob's Burgers, I was eager to go see the Bob's Burgers movie because, I mean, I like Bob's Burgers, frankly, but I knew most of the people that worked on it. And I left that show, I want to say in 2017, and that was when the discussions began about the movie. So, I mean, I left for things that I'm super happy that I did leave for, just exciting opportunities. But there was a little part of me when I left, like, oh wow, like they're beginning this kind of cool thing, and like I won't get to see it. And so it's been fun over the years, keeping in touch with everyone and hearing the progress. And so I remember there was talk about releasing it over streaming during the pandemic, and then show creator Lauren Bouchard was like, no, like we're already on TV screens. Like this was meant to be special, put out into theaters. And so I was not only excited about it, but really rooting for it, because I love everybody over there. It's good people. Bob's Burgers are good people over there. So it was to my delight when I saw it come out and it got great reviews. You said you liked it.
I did.
Yeah. And the box office, I mean, it probably depends on who you ask, but I think it did pretty well, honestly. I mean, it's not The Simpsons, right?
And it couldn't have cost a ton.
Right. And what I mean by that is, like, I mean, The Simpsons is like a global phenomenon that's it's been around for 30 years. And, Bob's is a bit more niche. And when it came out, I think over a 4-day weekend, it made about 15 million or something against Top Gun. I was like, I mean, you got to be happy with that. That's great. Yeah. And so fans turned out. And I'm sad to say I turned out a week later, but I was trying to keep the box office up. That was my game.
That's the theory.
Yeah, but no. So long way of getting to it. I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, I'm definitely in the bag for it. So that's for starters. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I haven't watched the show consistently since I left. Like I tune in every now and then. I'd still like in my DVR, and but it just felt good going back. I mean, it's such a lovely, sweet, wacky vibe, this show. And one of the hallmarks of the show is that this family doesn't bicker with one another. They love one another, like they're quirky, and they might bump heads in the way that they want to accomplish something, but at the end of the day, they're always encouraging one another. And it was really nice to go back into that really positive space, and and just seeing also the way that they translated it to the big screen. I mean, this movie is beautiful. Like just the way that they took the really simplistic designs and amped them up with the light and shadow and colors. I had a blast, and a little bit more time spent on the animation for some smoother shots and action and whatnot. So I had a great time with the Bob's Burgers movie. I will I'm sure I'll watch it again when it's on streaming, just sort of as like comfort food. But
it's crazy to realize that this show has been on for 12 seasons.
Yeah.
Because I look at that and I'm like, that's insane. How, you know what I mean? Like in Simpsons years, that's 2002.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
When I left that show, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to realize, God, this show, 12 seasons is long for any show, much less an animated show. But that said, how would you stack this up with the Simpsons movie, which you and I saw that together?
Yeah.
Speaking for myself, I've seen it maybe one time since then.
The Simpsons movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's a really interesting question. You made me think of something else too that I wanted to say. Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to add like a little detail about how long they've been on. Because like I said, I left 2017 and now it's 2022 and I worked on 70 plus episodes.
Wow.
So,
that's nuts.
Yeah. So they've been going.
You worked on a syndication package all by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually there when they worked on the syndication, which was a fascinating process, by the way. Just learning how much time they had to snip out and finding the creative ways to do it. Sometimes you speed things up and sometimes you can snip enough, and seeing jokes that you love get cut out and you're like, wow, that's never going to live on. That's amazing. But anyway, sorry. I just could never rank these fairly because I have different relationships to both. Simpsons and IDU is literally like a language we slip in and out of as we do this show. So that is like woven into my DNA. So that pleases me in a specific way. And I like the Simpsons movie. I came at a time when I guess it's not true. I said I left in 2002. I probably left more around 6 or 7 or something like that. And I thought it was like an interesting blended mix of old school sensibility with new school sensibility. And so it weirdly felt like its own thing. I almost think of it separately from the show. But I really admired the ways that they really played into trying to fit in every single character. And so there's a lot of like vignettes going on, and then there's the whole sort of Alaska subplot, and what I thought was fun about Bob's was, they make like I've seen this elsewhere, and I kind of agree with it, where they said it just feels like a bigger episode. Like they didn't try to fit in every character, they didn't try to be like they're going to the moon, kind of a thing. Yeah. But I think it was the right decision because it just felt like it is a mystery. I don't think it's a spoiler to say there's a mystery involved that involves the town. And so I think they just found interesting ways to get into the nooks and crannies of the town in a way that a 22-minute episode couldn't. And so I sort of admire how both took different approaches, but I felt like they were both worthy movie, excursions. So
there we go.
I guess that's my answer.
No, it's a good answer. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, Bob's Burgers movie. And then I went back in time, Zachy. I decided to go back in time because I think it was the last episode we talked about The Right Stuff. Oh, because of the passing of Fred Ward.
That's right.
And I said that The Right Stuff was something I had been meaning to watch for a really long time and just have never gotten around to it. So I was like, all right, that's it. I got to do it. We're doing it tonight. And so that's pretty much what I did. I sat down and watched it, and you recommended it, said it was something I would like, and you were absolutely correct.
Oh, well, that's a relief.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting movie too, because I will say it is worth maybe even like a longer discussion at some point, because it's funny how sometimes when you watch older films, they're sort of edited in a different way. or like the pacing is a little different where you think, oh, it might have felt smoother if they'd done this, or oh, I'm surprised they dropped that kind of thing. But it's, I don't know, like that's just sort of the flow that they were feeling at the time. And so this movie's stuffed. I mean, this is stuffed with story. And so when I saw that currently it exists as a mini series, right, on I think Disney Plus.
That's right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that makes complete sense. And actually, I think it's something I might want to want to visit because I would like to dig in deeper to this world. But yeah, I loved it. I read about how, you know, they included the character, the real life person, Chuck Yeager, who was the first person to break the sound barrier. And I saw there was a lot of in reviews. Or no, I'm sorry. In the making of the movie, there was a lot of back and forth about whether to have that character included at all.
That's right.
And I couldn't imagine the movie without him. I mean, he becomes this backbone to the story where he's our introduction to this whole world of sort of super accomplished pilots who are pushing, you know, breaking barriers and doing new things, which leads to the space program, which, you know, he could have been a part of it and he wasn't, but it, you know, in a way he sort of was. And I loved that angle. That angle really emotionally.
Yeah, the way the Yeager story is woven, throughout, but it never touches directly.
Yes,
the astronaut. Like there's no payoff. Like they meet. You know what I mean? Like those they don't intersect at all.
Yeah, but it's so perfect. I think it really, and I thought I saw that Philip Kaufman, the filmmaker who made it, said like, how do you tell the story without him? Yeah. And I agree. I think it really it set up something like a universe for me to understand, and then, you know, they start introducing these characters who will become a part of the space program, you know, who begin in his orbit but then move on to other things. And gosh, yeah, it was so, I mean, Ed Harris, seeing him as a young man who still looks older than me. Like,
right. You know how old he is in that movie? 17.
No, it's wild. I mean, he still looks like a 45-year-old man, but I think, he's like 32 or something.
And I had wanted to mention in our Top Gun Maverick discussion how I love having Ed Harris in there as this neat little payoff to The Right Stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's just, I mean, and just little stories that I didn't know about, you know, like I knew who Gus Grissom was, but I didn't know all these details about his life, you know, the ups and downs, and just seeing, you know, each man sort of consecutively get to go into space, and some with more fanfare than others, and, you know, some with tragedy. And it's just, it's really sweeping. And it's over 3 hours long, but it's fun and kind of old fashioned, you know, very sort of beautiful and patriotic. And I thought it was great. It was definitely up my alley, and I'm so glad you recommended it.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I was discussing this with my brother recently. I was like, the cool thing is we have enough of these NASA history movies that you can put them all together and create your own little cinematic universe.
That's so true, right?
Because The Right Stuff flows into First Man, which flows into Hidden Figures, which flows into Apollo 13.
Yeah,
the same. I mean, the characters are played by different actors, but it's the same figures, you know.
I know people joke, you know, people don't know certain aspects of history if it hasn't been turned into a movie. But, you know, I mean, I guilty for many historical events. And I have to say, watching this film, I was like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that person. And it's probably because of, you know, Apollo 13 in those movies. So, you know, I mean, hopefully it makes you want to dig into, I mean, that's Federica is notorious for this. Like, while we're watching a movie, especially if it's a true story, she goes right to the Wikipedia page and wants to learn about everybody. And so then you can be like, oh, well, the movie sort of truncated this part, or this, you know, happened. Oh, they were actually divorced during this moment, even though it makes it look like they're still married, that sort of thing.
Right.
But really, I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, with Grissom specifically, you know, he's played by Fred Ward in this. He's played by Jason Clarke in First Man, and you know he died tragically on the launch pad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when
His story.
it is, it's very sad. And really, like when you view all of these films together, it's kind of weird how Grissom becomes the focus of all of them in some way.
Right.
Like, because even Apollo 13, when you think about it, so much of that is it's, if you remember it, the movie starts with a recap of what happened to Gus Grissom.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, when Apollo 13 is having their issues, the little boy's like, was it the door? Talking about,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's for those of you listening who have not seen The Right Stuff, and I would assume there's a fair amount, because it's one of those very long movies that you're like, I'll get to it one of these days.
Yeah, guilty.
It's worth it. It is worth it.
So I have to tell a very quick tangential story, but when I was younger, I mean like 8 or something like that, my uncle, I think he inherited it, but he inherited a bunch of classic cars. And so every now and then these movies would rent them from him. And the first one, I don't know why this stuck with me, maybe because it was the first time that concept was introduced to me as a kid. But I was told, oh yeah, he's renting these cars for this TV movie about this woman named Pancho Barnes. And I was like, oh, wow. So I think Valerie Bertinelli played her. And I remember watching it on TV, and he's in the movie playing one of the people driving the cars. And just like this little factoid I had completely forgotten about until I watched The Right Stuff and realized that the bar they all hang out in is run by Pancho Barnes, real life person. Right. And I was like, whoa, like I totally know who this person is. I know the earlier part of her life because of that movie my uncle helped out on. So that was kind of a cool connection. Random. Isn't that so funny?
Amazing.
On another note, I watched another movie, The Warriors.
Just like The Right Stuff.
Yeah, very, equally as patriotic, a little slice of American history. All those gangs, baseball uniforms with Kiss makeup on. New York. No, so the reason I watched The Warriors was because my brother said, I don't know why, but his coworkers, he said, sometimes will say like, Warriors come out to play.
Yeah. And
he's like, have you seen this movie? He's like, because he's like, I don't even think they've seen it, but they just say it all the time.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things everybody knows.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And I've seen the imagery of the movie, like the warriors are in these sort of leather vests, and one of them has sort of like a Native American headdress looking thing on. And like I said, like these wacky gangs, like are mimes, and some gangs are on roller skates, it's one of those movies that just somehow I knew what it was. It was almost like Rocky Horror when we were younger. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember they made a big deal about it coming to video. Because now that I know more of its history, I mean, it was like a theatrical staple, right? Like a midnight movie kind of thing.
Yeah. And
it was one of those things you just didn't see on TV a lot. And likewise, I feel like The Warriors was that, where I knew what it was, but I just it was never available anywhere, or I never came across it. And so it was sort of like this mysterious film. And I was like, I don't know. I just suddenly got it in me. I was like, I want to watch this and see what this is all about. So have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I'm you up until, well, I guess just before watching Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I really kind of enjoyed it. It's a wacky movie. I mean, it's a great story, actually. I mean, it's a great premise, I should say. It's kind of like a video game in that there's this huge summit of all the gangs of New York, and this one sort of Morpheus-y sort of leader is just like, guys, like, we outnumber the police like 5-1. What are we doing? Let's get along and like, let's take over the city. And everyone's like, yeah. But then out of nowhere, that leader is killed in front of everybody. And this one person turns around and is like, the Warriors did it. And so everyone's like, get the Warriors. And so it becomes this whole thing where over the course of one night, they have to get from wherever this was taking place to their turf in Coney Island, getting through New York one night, all these gangs are out to get them. So it becomes like all these levels they have to defeat, on the subway and through this neighborhood, and maybe these people are allies and maybe they're not. And yeah, the fun of it is just how weird some of these gangs are. Like there's a fight in Central Park, like I said, with these like baseball players with like Kiss makeup on and stuff. I mean, is it good? I don't know. Like it's really more about the gonzo-ness of it, I think. And
careful, Brian, I have a feeling some people listening are going to be coming after us like the gang's going after the Warriors.
what I say that
Movie
because
film.
I just mean if people are thinking like, oh, like some sort of 70s masterpiece that I missed, it's like I don't know that it's that. I don't think it's intending to be that. Like it's just intending to be this heightened romp, and for that I really enjoyed it. The music's fun and cool, and the aesthetic is fun and cool, and I wouldn't have minded if it had gone even crazier, to be honest. Sometimes a gang will show up and they're dressed normal, and I'm like, well, that's no fun. So, but yeah, kind of a fun surprise that I enjoyed. It's like 90 minutes. It's a breeze.
See, I remember a Simpsons, and I don't know the context of it, but it has like I think it's one of the bullies doing the thing with the bottles on the fingers.
Oh, funny.
I don't remember what episode that was or what the context is, but I remember that, and then somehow I had it explained to me that that's a Warriors reference.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why I know it. Like maybe even from songs. I think afterwards I was looking it up, and it was like, oh yeah, this thing's been sampled everywhere. It just somehow gets in your brain. But yeah, I'm here to say it's a good, wacky, dated romp. And I say dated because some of the language and things I think might bristle some people, but yeah, it's just it's goofy fun. So I'd actually be very curious to hear if people have seen it, or people who love it. I don't know, just to hear a little bit more about.
It is quite a beloved cult artifact.
I think adding to the sort of Rocky Horror Picture Show-ness of it, I mean, even though this is very different, but just sort of like a whole mythology around it. I had also read that when it came out, like there were fights breaking out in theaters. And so I guess Paramount at some point even pulled it and changed the advertising and, maybe put it back out with like a whole attempted different context. So I think that added a little bit
to make it feel like a family romp. Like they got the Disney trailer narrator guy.
Right. Or did you know, by the way, this is a random fact, but did you know that Saturday Night Fever was released as an R-rated movie, and then it did so well, and the soundtrack did so well that they cut it into a PG movie and re-released it?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
How did that do?
I don't know. I watched it a couple of years ago for the first time, and so then I'm always like want to do my deep dive afterwards, and that was some fact about it. I was like, wow, that's fascinating.
That's like they did with Deadpool a couple of years ago. Remember?
Right.
Once Upon a Deadpool, right?
Right, that's right. Did like a PG-13 version, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know that it did particularly well.
That always felt more like an experiment to me. Like, let's see how this goes, And I actually watched it because my friend worked at Fox and he had the Blu-ray. And it was funny because halfway through, I had completely forgotten I was watching a PG-13 version of it. Like you just, it's like I almost didn't even notice.
So then the cuts were negligible, you're saying?
To me, they were. I mean, it was like the jokes were still irreverent and he was still cheeky, and I kind of forgot.
That's so funny. These ways of just, there's another tangent. Do you remember this? Remember when Ally McBeal was this smash hit?
Yeah.
That's like a specific microcosm, right?
Yeah.
For like a minute, everybody was making Ally McBeal references and Dancing Baby and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so successful that, remember, this was an hour-long show, that Fox re-edited the episodes into half-hour sitcoms.
Huh.
And they called it Ally.
Did they change the tone, or was it?
I can't say because I watched neither Ally McBeal nor Ally. But I remember this was a thing they did where it was existing episodes that they re-edited. And it wasn't like they just put it out to syndication. Like it was on the lineup. It was like the Fox lineup.
That's so funny.
Weird, right?
Yeah. I wonder why.
And remember also when that was the only job that Robert Downey Jr. could get,
I do remember that. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Different era.
Yeah, completely. Wow. Well, anyway, what have you been watching?
So I just saw recently, after Top Gun, I was kind of in Tom Cruise skating mode, and I was like, I feel like watching another Tom Cruise movie, and so I put on Minority Report,
Yeah.
which I have not seen in probably close to 20 years.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. It came out 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and so I saw it the one time in theaters, and then I saw it like one more time after that, maybe in 2004. So about 18 years. So it'd been a while, and it's one of those like, oh, I've been meaning to revisit this, And have you seen it recently?
Maybe like 5-ish years ago or more.
That was more recent than me. Damn, it's a good movie,
right?
Like, I mean, it's weird how, and this might be just us. We tend to, we don't speak as often. I was going to say speak as highly. That's not true. We don't speak as often of post-millennium Spielberg necessarily.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. But this is like up there with some of the best movies he's ever made, in my opinion.
I think when I watched it, it was an instance of it sort of beginning on HBO. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, yeah. Like, because I wanted to see that sort of first collar that they do. And then I think I watched the whole rest of the thing. Because, I mean, you get to that whole sequence at the car manufacturing assembly line thing, which is
that's right,
freaking awesome.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, it's good. I mean, it's post, I'd say like maybe even like post 9/11 Spielberg has been kind of interesting. Like I don't know, like he always had a little darkness in it. I mean, Temple of Doom, for goodness sake, but like, like he really sort of leaned into it in a way that he hadn't before. And there's like unpleasantness in that film, in a way that I feel like he hadn't really indulged in before. And so it was a little jarring, I remember at the time, but it still has his, breakneck zippiness and everything going on as well.
There's a piece in there where he's chasing an eyeball down the hallway.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, Spielberg by way of Sam Raimi or something,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
But what's interesting is I remember watching the movie the first time, seeing it in the theater. And if you remember, it has like a dark turn, maybe 2/3 of the way in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has kind of a sort of Spielberg ending.
Sure.
And I remember at the time being like, man, they should have done the dark ending. Right. Right. And I realized, because I watched it this time, I'm like, no, I like the Spielberg ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, in the early 20s, in my early 20s, I was in my like morose phase, I guess.
Right.
Like, right. Sucks. Everything's you got to kill the hero. That's what's the truthful ending. I was in my like film student phase.
Oh yeah, sure. Because it's unexpected, and you're like, "That's life, man."
What do you have against truth, man?
Yeah, it's like Dante, right? When he prefers Empire, he's like, "That's what life is—a series of down endings."
That's right. No, but I actually liked the way the movie went. It because it is darker than we'd expect from Spielberg, but it ends in a place that it does feel honest, without revealing anything. I mean, I think it has ups and downs that all it does. Let me put it this way: it doesn't feel like they scotch taped on a kind of smiley face wrap up.
Which some people would also accuse AI of doing, right?
Sure, yeah.
I don't think people mind me talking about the ending, but there's the opportunity to leave the boy at the bottom of the ocean making wishes until the end of time, right? But then he actually, in some ways, gets his wish, and some people are like, "Wow, what if you just ended with him down at the ocean and pulled back and faded to black?" How do you feel about that, actually? By the way,
the question I have, and I've never bothered looking into it, was that Kubrick's original ending? Like what? Because I've always assumed that Spielberg followed Kubrick, to whatever extent he intended to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my first question.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I could see it either way, honestly. I mean, I think I could see that being an ending, also him wishing until the end of time, but then there is something nice about seeing him, but it's also still kind of sad and melancholy. You know, it's
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I never had that issue. It never felt, because I agree with you. Like, if it had ended that way, I probably would have been okay with it. But it never, the way the movie does end, it never felt false to me.
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's not like
It-
he just gets his mom again, period. Life goes on. It's more like,
Right.
you get it, but you get this day, but so it's,
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
say,
exactly.
there's still some melancholy infused.
See, that one I really do need to revisit. It's been probably since the theater.
Yeah, that I remember. I took my family. I think it came out on the 4th of July or something. I took my
That's right.
family to see it in the afternoon, and I remember walking out being like, "I'm sorry."
It does kind of feel like AI is almost like the turning point into full on Papa Spielberg mode, right?
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, there was Private Ryan before that.
Sure.
I'm trying to think. Did he do anything between?
Where would you put Catch Me If You Can? Would you call that Papa Spielberg?
Oh yeah.
I think you can see like the grays
kind of a
appearing in
tweener,
his
right?
beard. Let's put it that way. But I don't know that I would go full Papa Spielberg with.
No,
Catch Me If
I
You
agree with you. It's because it does have the kind of the zippy caper
Can. Yes,
aspect.
I love that movie.
But I mean, look, honestly, here's me. I put Catch Me If You Can and The Terminal in kind of the same box.
Yeah.
In that they're very well made films that are not typical Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it does feel like him kind of just bending the genres a little bit, bending his own boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, interesting. And it's funny because I haven't. Wait, when was the last time you? This turned into the Spielberg podcast, but when was the last time you watched Always?
I saw it in film school, so it's been more than 20 years. I'm trying to think. Probably fall of '99, I believe.
Oh wow, okay. I don't think I've seen it since it was on CBS, maybe in the 90s at some point.
Oh, okay.
And I was gonna say, I feel like The Terminal may be one of his most saccharine movies.
Yeah.
But which I still like. I mean, I would absolutely not disagree with anyone who feels it's too much. But then I was like, oh, but actually I don't remember Always. I feel like that one might be.
I couldn't tell you much about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recall falling asleep in Always for whatever that's
Oh,
worth.
really?
I think that might just be because I was tired and I had driven into the city. So, you know.
Right.
Terminal, I saw it with you, if you remember.
I can't lie. I honestly don't remember this one. Where were we?
We were in the movie theater. That's all I can tell you. It was in Southern California. I don't know the movie theaters down there.
Oh man, I wish I could remember it.
Yeah, it was you, me, and Sean. Summer of 04, I think. Right?
Well, that feels right.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I hijacked Minority Report, but yeah, maybe you're making me want to cue it up again.
I want to watch War of the Worlds next.
I did see that one not too long ago.
You saw that
also.
recently, right?
Yeah.
See, I remember not being crazy about that one when it came out, and
same.
So I am, but as I recall, you had kind of a more positive view of it recently, right?
Yeah, I that's another one where people criticize the ending, and I can't say I disagree. It's
okay,
and it's more in the execution, which is a little surprising. Like it truly does feel like something, to say what you said earlier, like sort of scotch taped on.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that it happened. It's just the way that it happens is so like, oh yeah, and then that thing you thought was terrible is actually okay, and then it just kind of ends. And so I'm not talking about the way that the aliens go out. I'm talking about, I'm like dancing around this as if like we really need to talk about spoilers with this. But the sun, the sun sort of reappearing at the end.
Right. It is, I saw somebody on Twitter posted about how Tom Cruise really is like the master of one-off sci-fi movies.
Huh.
And
funny.
they point like Minority Report, War of the Worlds, Oblivion, what do you call it? Live, Die, Repeat. What's Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah. Wow, it's funny you remembered that first.
Yeah.
It worked.
But like I was like, yeah, he's got this interesting niche.
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny to me is like Tom Cruise is not somebody who is readily associated with sci-fi movies,
That is so funny. You're right.
right?
You're right.
But he's done like a fair amount.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I find that interesting.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to it. You talking about War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Soon. So why don't we take a short break and we'll come back. We got some listener letters. And we are back, and hey, we got some listener comments here.
Oh, great!
So, Brian, here's a new review that was written for us by Dan Ketis, who I've known Dan, via Twitter for a while, and he only just now started listening to the show.
Oh, wow!
Which is very nice, and he's been delving into the back catalog, and as anybody listening knows, we tend to warn people off from delving too far into the back catalog.
Right.
You know, it's like peering into the Ark of the Covenant. You don't know.
You don't. You just don't know.
Yeah, so we do try to warn people off. But he's been enjoying our commentary tracks, and he posted this review on Apple Podcasts. He says, I finally got around to listening to this podcast after having many pleasant interactions on social media with one of the show's hosts. Insightful, witty, and charming movie chat between two friends that feels like a catch-up over coffee. Consider me a subscriber for life.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
This is nice, and we say this all the time, but the best compliment we can get is if you feel like you're just hanging out with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because
100%.
And
that means
what
a lot.
the show's supposed to be,
I'm just happy enough knowing that that anybody's enjoying the show at all. But when people take the time to leave messages like that, it really means a lot. Thank you.
It's been very gratifying, and we've said this before, but the commentary tracks have tended to be evergreens.
Yeah, which is something I hadn't considered as we do them. Yeah.
People, I get messages all the time. People are like, oh, I'm re-listening to your track for this, or I'm going through all your Star Wars commentaries again.
Yeah.
Which is very crazy to me because certainly for me, I have saved in my music library, I have all of Kevin Smith's commentary tracks saved for his movies. Mm-hmm. And I like to put those on sometimes. And it's like, I know, like I already know the gist, but I enjoy hearing it again.
Yeah.
And the idea that people consider like what we have to say about whatever, like Star Wars or something, like, oh, I want to hear that again.
Yeah. Nice. I think I've said this. I don't say it a lot, but with the commentaries, sometimes I feel an extra, like hopping on here with you is like, hey, let's chat. But with the commentary, sometimes I feel this extra pressure because we're focusing on one thing, devoted to this one thing, that I feel like it has to be a conversation worth listening to. So I'll be like, oh, okay, I got to really like read up on it. And when to hear that people enjoy them and listen to them more than once, it makes me breathe a little easier. Like, okay, I guess we're doing all right.
Hopefully, I think so. After this long,
yeah.
It's crazy to think that our very first commentary that we did was 2014.
Wow,
that was Planet of the Apes.
Wow, really?
And from then to now, just how many have we done? I don't even know. It's been a lot.
Yeah, same. I don't know. We'd probably be at like 350 episodes by this point.
I'm fairly certain.
Because we number them only. Episodes with numbers are just these conversations, but the commentaries we don't number.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm fairly certain it's at or close to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that, Dan. I really appreciate that. And here's a note that we got from Pervez, who emailed us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com, and he says, and he sent us an article, which is about the movie The Pentaveterate, which is a Netflix movie starring
or series, right?
Oh, is it a series?
I think.
Oh, it is. You're right. Yeah. See, I don't even know. See. But it's a Netflix series, sorry, starring Mike Myers. And he left us this comment. He says, I think this piece looks at the impact that streaming has had on not only the what, but also the how we consume the visual arts as a whole, and the impact that has had on the kinds and perhaps even quality of content being generated. I'd love to hear your thoughts, again, not on the show specifically, but the broader issues raised about how Netflix and streaming in general, how it's turned what would be one-off movies or even event movies into shows
Mm-hmm.
that are spread out over several hours.
I don't know. What do you think?
What do you think, Brian? No. I've said this before, right? I think it's a two-pronged issue where you can look at it from one of two ways, right? On the one hand, you say, well, oftentimes subjects are given the room to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, for example, you've got like Dope Sick or, the Dropout or the Soho Grifter story. What's the Anna Delvey thing? What's that called? Inventing Anna.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so these stories get however many hours to spread out in. However, you lose the singular impact of a movie. And I've used this example before, that the movie Spotlight, which I love. I think it's a fantastic movie. Were that made today, it would be a miniseries.
Yep.
It would for sure be a streaming miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
And would it be impactful? I have no doubt. But I don't know that it would have the same kind, the singular impact of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's so many of these things, right? And I wonder, a lot of it is like people making the choice of like, man, do I feel like spending however many hours on this,
Yeah, I tend to be a movie person over television, probably for that reason. Because even when I sit down for Right Stuff, which is 3 hours, 15 minutes or something, I'm still going to hop in, like you say, have this singular impact in one night and walk away and go, wow, what a ride, and carry it with me. But then I do still, I find I watch less shows than a lot of people do, because people will be like, have you seen this? I'm like, yep. Have you seen that? Yep. Like, have you seen Ozark? No. Have you seen Inventiana? No. Have you, and it's, so I get a little more selective, I guess, about the things I'm willing to commit that are multiple episodes. But it's interesting. My brother, he said something I thought was really interesting. I had read that Stranger Things, which he is currently watching, you and I have finished, and I think we both liked, and he's enjoying. Yeah. But I had read a review that said it felt overstuffed. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I disagree. I actually thought it felt properly stuffed. And I mentioned that to my brother Dan, and I said, how do you feel about that? And he goes, I think people are just used to shows now that are stretching like things out so thin that they're not used to plotted episodes.
There isn't enough juice to justify the number of episodes.
Yeah, but this is just a well plotted 8-9 episode TV show, but people are getting used to these things that are stretched a little thin. But likewise, I'll say I'm just getting used because I'm used to some of these things that do feel like a 6-hour movie that are hacked up. I struggled with The Mandalorian. I think, we talked about, where at first I was like, I thought this was going to be a 6-hour movie.
That's right.
And then it was so episodic that I was like, well, what's the journey? What's the season? What's our one plot? Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute to get used to it, which I have come around on now, because I'm like, I enjoy The Mandalorian for being that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not that thing. So it's funny with so much television now, you almost have to know which type of storytelling you're getting with television, right? With each series.
To that point, right? And you said you're not fully caught up on Obi-Wan Kenobi yet.
I'm behind, yeah.
Which, to me, the latest episode, without getting into it, and just to be up top, I've enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the most recent one, but there is a critique like, this latest one feels like a filler episode, right? And I was like, remember when a filler episode didn't matter? Like in the sense that you had 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you could sneak in, somebody on Twitter was like, there's an episode of the OC where Ryan starts playing soccer and they just never refer to that again. And I just find it funny. I've never watched the OC, but I'm like, it is funny how like you have room to be like, let's try this. Oh, I guess that didn't work. Okay, we'll just do something,
Yeah.
And people feel the sting of a filler episode more when it's like, well, we got 6 of these things,
Right.
so let's stay on target here.
That's really funny. Yeah, sure.
If you'll let me stay in the Star Wars vernacular.
Right.
And I was thinking, I was like, this latest Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's about 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like, well, you're telling me you couldn't have found a way to like take those 35 minutes and add them to the other ones? Or so, like, you know what I mean?
Well, see,
like,
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that reminds me of, then you're getting sort of almost, and I'm not accusing this of this, Lucasfilm, but but there are sort of like business decisions at play sometimes where it makes me think of Ted Lasso, right? Where they had, I'm making these numbers up, but like a 8 episode order, right? So they're like, season 1's a hit, we're going to order, or season 1 is going well, let's do a season 2, let's have 8 episodes. Actually, season 1's going really well. Here, have 2 more episodes. And what that really is they're adding to the budget. And so, you're paying for writers to write 2 more episodes. You're paying for direct, like it's a lot of businessy decisions. But I remember that Ted Lasso decision, whenever they made it ended up being a little clumsy because they're like, okay, well, we actually have this season mapped out and now we have to insert 3 episodes.
Right.
I mean, great. We'll take it because as actors and filmmakers and whatnot, this means it's like a bonus. It means more pay. But then they ended up with that Christmas episode that felt disconnected from everything, which, some people liked, some people didn't. But then I remember there was another episode where like a character wanders the streets all night. And again, it's not connected to anything. And it was another one where people felt like, yeah, but what's going on? Aren't we like wondering if they're going to make it to the finals, kind of a thing. So I remember that show in particular, that felt a little awkward. Yeah. That sort of decision making. But I just another sort of symptom of this funny new non-traditional. Some shows are 6 episodes, some are 10, some are 12.
Yeah. And sometimes that works. It's weird. I mean, I look like, for example, probably my favorite TV show of all time is The West Wing, right?
Yeah.
And that was a traditional network show. Each season's about 24 episodes, let's say. And thank goodness for that, right? Because it allowed for the richness of the world that was created to really take root. And, that's, I think, how, when you talk to people who are fans of that show, they have such a deep affinity for those characters. And it comes from having spent so much time with them. And it wouldn't be as effective if each season was, say, 10 episodes.
Right.
Now, these bio shows, I would argue that 6 or 8 episodes or whatever is too much.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it's funny because Amina is like real big into these. She watched The Dropout. She went right from that to the Anna Delvey show. I think she's going to be watching the WeWork thing,
Right.
And it's so funny because she gets real pulled into it, and she's like, actually, what's her name? What's the dropout? What's her name? Elizabeth Holmes. She's like, oh, she's not so, she was actually like having this issue and whatever. And then Anna Delvey, like, oh, she had these problems where she was, and I'm like, listen, I'm going to create a show about you. It's called Sympathy for Sociopaths. These are bad guys. You're not supposed to,
It's funny because in that show it'd be like, how can she humanize, these horrible decisions that these people made? Oh, well, now I can kind of see because she's a really compassionate person, like.
But I look at The Dropout and I'm like, that would have been a pretty killer 2-hour movie. I don't know that you needed a whole entire series out of it,
Yeah, sure.
So stuff like that. It's a trade-off because I don't think that these event series on streaming have a particularly long shelf life in terms of the cultural conversation.
Well, it's hard because also with there being so many of them and so many different services. Like, for instance, I just watched Severance on Apple TV, sure. Which is probably going to be one of my favorite things I watch all year. I mean, absolutely loved it and caught me by surprise. Like I was not expecting to get that enamored with it, but I don't really know anyone else who's seen it.
Yeah.
So it's I recommend it. I'm like, do you have Apple TV? And they say yes. I say watch it, and or I'll say, do you have it? And they go no. And I'm like, oh, too bad. You know, like it's harder. I mean, it's there's two sides to it, right? I mean, it's exciting that all these things can get made, but they have to expect that they might not all become phenomenons, right?
Yeah.
So you have to sort of be okay with a certain level of success, knowing that it's just not going to be like, you know, Dallas in the 80s where it's like everybody's watching this.
But what is like
what
Dallas?
Is like Who Shot JR? You know what I mean? Like I that's why it came to my mind, like sort of
but
a
I mean,
moment that everyone you could put it on a button and everyone would know what you're talking about.
Your point is well stated, and if I can plot a corollary maybe more to our experiences, I remember like the Friday after Ross and Rachel kissed for the first time. That's all people were talking about.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And we don't really have that anymore, I don't think.
Well, and it's so many things. I mean, also, like I said, my brother, he's like 3 episodes into Stranger Things, so I'm like, wait, what is that?
That's right. Yeah.
Like, what do you know? What have you seen? Like it's the conversation's a little fractured.
Does Kate Bush mean anything to you?
Right.
That's been also very funny. Like, you know, the Kate Bush song that features prominently in the new season.
Yeah.
Running up that hill. You know, it's gotten traction. It's very popular again.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been seeing all these people getting like mad about that. Like, all these people suddenly into Kate Bush.
Right.
And I'm like, what is your investment in this? Like,
I know.
Like, explain to me where your emotions are coming from. I genuinely want to know.
Well, it's like that. Yeah, like, hell, who cares? But also, like, I mean, what were you around for the Beatles? You know, but I'm sure you love the Beatles. Like, aren't you just happy that people find good stuff? You know?
Like, I remember a whole bunch of people discovering Phil Collins with the Hangover.
Right. Air of the Night.
When Mike Tyson's drumming within the air tonight. And me, as a Phil Collins diehard, I was like, hey, right on.
Mm-hmm, right.
That's great. And I was thinking, when I went to see Phil in concert a couple years ago, I was like, how many of these people are like Hangover fans?
Right.
Like, they came on board with the Hangover and they became, fans.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be cool? So anyway, I just love how people look for things to get mad about.
I remember, I mean, in the 90s, we talk about this occasionally, but there was such a thing about selling out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like the worst possible thing you could do.
Yeah.
And so, like, if your band became big or was in a commercial or on the radio, you're like, oh, like you cut yourself off from them. But now I'm like,
no, people would say, I used to like them and then they became too popular.
Yeah. And I mean, if their music changes, that's one thing. But like, if they're just feeding their family now, like, that's great. You know?
Well, there is sort of the arrogance of being somebody who does not have to worry about paying bills.
Sure.
Judging people for paying the bills.
Yeah.
Because that was in film school. There was a lot of that, man. It's like, man, I'm not making movies for the public. I'm making art for myself. I'm like, hey, sounds good. I want to make millions of dollars personally. You know, right. I'm like, let me know how that goes. You know,
yeah. I'd like to have a place to park a car that I'd like to own at some point. Yeah,
right. I'd like to have a family and be able to feed them. I'm funny that way. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, well, hopefully we answered that question to satisfaction.
Yeah. Oh, but did you check out that show, by the way? Have you seen it? The Pentaverate?
The Pentaverate?
Or Pentaverate?
Is that how it's pronounced?
I don't know.
I was like, can't pronounce it. Not watching. That's me.
That's funny.
I have a low bar.
I have not seen it, so I don't have anything to say. But it's just kind of sad that like Mike Myers was like Mike Myers, right? You know, Austin Powers, Wayne's World, all this stuff, and then I have not heard great things, and it was like, oh, I don't want to see that.
Here's my thought about without talking about the show specifically, which I haven't seen. I was thinking, has ever a career been so completely obliterated thanks to one bad movie?
Are you thinking Love Guru?
Love Guru.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that. You know what his
thing is? I'm sorry. I just feel like he stopped evolving.
Sure.
He found like a mode and then he just couldn't get out of that mode. And he did that mode for Austin Powers and it was very funny. And then he repeated the mode for Austin Powers 2, which is an even bigger hit. Then he did that mode again, which for Gold Member or whatever, which I think was still a hit, but I don't remember actually as well. And then he did Love Guru, which was basically that mode with like a mustache. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it was sort of like, oh, okay. Like he's just kind of repeating the poo poo pee pee.
Well, I mean, the thing with that movie, if you remember, he's like Mariska Hargitay.
Yes, right.
And I'm like, that's not funny. Like,
I know.
He just keeps saying Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like that's that's the same flavor, right? That he's and it's just, I don't know. I would like to see him maybe pushed a little bit if like he had someone pushing him.
But he's talking about doing another Austin Powers,
right? And
I'm sitting here like I don't want to see 60-year-old Austin Powers.
That's a really good point,
right?
Right.
I mean that just sounds like a really bad idea to me.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's sort of a repetitiveness to it.
Austin Powers to me it's 3 movies containing 1.5 movies worth of ideas.
100%. And by the way, I think they're hilarious. Like I you know what I mean? But it's but that's why I'm saying I want whatever he does next to be different.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you 2, but 3 to me is just okay. It might be time to gently pump the brakes on this.
Right.
Because I don't think 3 is particularly bad. I think it's fine, but it is like okay. I think we've done this now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that is Mike Myers. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Here is a letter that we got again at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. This is from James Mullins. And I found this interesting, Brian. He says, my wife and I watched The Skeleton Twins a few days ago. You remember that movie? Have you seen that?
Bill Hader
and Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig, right? Yeah. I have not seen it. Have you?
In fact, I interviewed both of them for that film.
Holy crap. How do I not remember that?
Yeah, and we might have played the audio on the show. That I can't remember, but I definitely got selfies with both of them.
That is awesome.
And you know what's funny? What's funny? I can say this now because it's been like forever. That was when Sean was doing the Impossibles. Is it the Impossibles?
Okay, yeah. The Seth Meyers or oh shoot, and oh my gosh, what was that?
Isn't that what is it?
Not. I was gonna say The Incredibles. That's obviously not it.
No, it's
I have a credit on it.
The Awesome.
Awesome. Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
So at the time, Bill Hader was doing one of the voices for that show. And so now I go and I interview both of them, and I quickly grabbed each of them and I got a selfie. And I sent Sean my selfie with Bill Hader. And he's like, wait, he's up there? He said he couldn't record for our show today because he's out sick or something.
That's hilarious.
I accidentally doxed Bill Hader.
Right. He should have then forwarded that picture and be like, how you feeling, bud?
But yeah, that was very cool. I got to interview both of them about that. Now, that said, I haven't seen the movie since then. It was 2013, right. I think. But this is what James says. He says, when we went to rate it after the fact, we got into a fairly heated argument. This is James and his wife.
Ooh.
I thought it was a solid film, and she, quote, wished she could delete it from the Voodoo library and wanted to give it 0 stars.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I asked her why, and she said that the movie's themes of suicide and abuse were too much for her to handle.
I see.
My question is, has there ever been a movie you were fundamentally unable to engage with due to the subject matter? That's a really good question, isn't it?
That is a really good question. I feel like I can tolerate quite a bit because I think in some ways I can almost look at it as an artful presentation of an idea, if that makes any sense. Like if there's like hard subject matter being presented, but it has something to say, I'd say by and large I'm able to sort of, if it's well done and it's worth it, I can handle most things. But I guess what it kind of reminds me of is one of the larger reasons why I'm not such a fan of horror movies. I think one of the few things that I really Actually, this makes me think of two things, and this happened to me recently. This sounds like really corny, but I get really angry when I watch injustice. Like when people are just unjustly treated, I just start seething. And like I stop thinking about the movie and I start thinking about what I wish I could do, and almost like how I want to punish the people who are punishing other people. And it's just this funny thing. And it's always funny because then I'm always like, oh, if it was me, I'd throw that guy off the roof, like, 'cause it's not fair what he's doing to that guy. And it's funny because then when you watch the film, the hero then always doesn't do that. He does like the right thing, and it's like it's so much better. And I'm always like, right, that's how it should. That's how it should be.
Right thing, of course.
Yeah. So I find those things get under my skin a little bit, but also going back to the horror thing, I just hate watching people being tortured.
Yeah.
Like people sort of like begging for their lives only to be sort of like graphically killed. Actually, that reminds me of the movie The Strangers, where it's basically like a home invasion movie.
Yes.
And I'm going to spoil The Strangers here, like 10-year-old movie. But basically it's the whole movie is this couple being tormented at their house by these people in masks outside their house. And then they get in the house and then they're hiding in a closet, and it ends up with them basically tied up in chairs. And the bad guys just slowly insert knives into the wife's stomach, and the husband has to watch, and then she dies. And then they slowly kill the husband. I was like, I hate this. Like this. This is, supposedly it's based or inspired by a true story. And I'm like, I just can't, it's just entirely unpleasant, and it gets in my head and it makes me feel awful. So I think those are the things that I just can't. People sort of being tortured and it's for my entertainment. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah. The whole torture porn genre.
Yeah.
It's a hard pass for me.
Yeah.
And I include stuff like Saw in that, honestly.
I remember I watched the first one because I was told it was good. And I remember actually being like, yeah, I get it. This is, it's a little too gruesome for me, but I was like, yeah, that was well done. I understand why this is a good story. But then when I think the sequels, then they just sort of become like, what are more inventive ways we can hurt people? And it's like, okay, this is, not for me.
Yeah. Like there's the one where dude's got like a bear trap or something on his neck.
Yeah.
And the behind his eye is the key, and he's got to gouge his eye out.
Right.
I'm like, I don't need that in my head,
Yeah.
It's it's like what is that Human Centipede?
Right.
Like who thinks of that?
You believe that exists? Like think about.
There's 3 of them.
There was like a production office filled with employees and copy machines and. You know what I mean? Yeah. That brought that to life. Like it's crazy.
It's just like I'm like, I'm good. Like that whole subgenre is just not for me. But in a more broad sense, going back to what you were saying earlier, just anything that involves children being brutalized.
Oh my gosh, was that Dr. Sleep?
Oh sure, I haven't seen that.
Oh, didn't we talk about that?
You talked about it.
Oh, okay. I was just talking about it last night. That's why it's in the forefront of my mind. But really good movie. Yeah. Really great sequel to The Shining. However, there's a scene of a child pretty much being tortured, and it's like I just wanted to cry and leave the theater. It's like almost like the one reason I hesitate recommending that movie to people, because it's so awful. Wow. So yeah, I agree with that.
So let me ask you were talking earlier about like, wanting like justice,
Yeah.
when a character is treated badly, and we were just talking about Stranger Things. So when 11 smacks that chick with the roller skate.
Yes.
How did you feel when she did that? I'll grease the wheels here. Me, I gotta be honest, I felt pretty good about that.
I did too, and then I did feel a little bad about it. But like, you know why? I thought they executed it really well, because they do that whole almost like fisheye thing on the girl, being like, making this girl making 11 feel awful. And I would just wanted to like have someone shove her, I was like, what, just trip
Yeah.
her or something. I'd be okay with that. And when she smacked her with the wheel, there's like a release, you almost feel like oh, good, shut her up. But then when you see the blood coming down her face, you're like, ooh, maybe, like maybe violence isn't the answer.
somebody tweeted that question. Like, oh, how did you think about, about what 11 did? And I was gonna be like, she had it coming.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, you know what? I should not tweet that.
Right.
I was like, I feel like that could be put on a list or something, It almost feels like a CIA psyop. Like,
right.
We got Mr. Hassan over here. He's advocating violence against the blonde woman.
The child. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I remember that reminds me of that scene in the Hand That Rocks the Cradle, where I remember there's like some kid picking on the kid that Rebecca De Mornay is watching, and then she storms out there and like rips her off a swing or something. And there's something kind of cathartic about it, but there's also like, ooh, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that though. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, hopefully that answers that.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
So the answer is kind of. Yeah.
There you go. Let's take another break, and then we will talk through the trailer of Black Adam. And we are back, and we got a new trailer to discuss. A trailer that just dropped yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And this is for Black Adam. This is the new DC superhero / supervillain movie, which opens in October. And I feel like this is a very short window to begin promoting a movie that comes out in like 3 months, 4 months.
It's, with streaming, it's funny. Streaming movies, they start advertising like a month before something drops. Like there's some sort of metric they figured out for streaming. Like this is the attention span. This is what people need to know. So it's now that the sort of timing window of theatrical movies has been sort of rethought, right? With less things coming out. And, I mean, think of Top Gun, right? I had like no competition in week 2 or whatever. Okay. I wonder if that's kind of it too, right? Like a whole different way of thinking, like the timing of marketing.
That is interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie that has been in the works since forever.
Yeah, I feel like I remember reading about it a long time ago.
Well, I mean, just to put this in perspective, when Dwayne Johnson signed on to play Black Adam, my first son was 10 months old.
What?
That's true. And by the time the movie comes out, he will be a sophomore in high school.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wait, what was The Rock doing in that time? Like what was going on there? Was that the Rundown kind of thing, or was that
Rundown would have been before that?
Okay.
Because Rundown was like 2003.
Okay.
But we're talking 2007, right? So this is
Southland Tales. Something like
that. Well, that might have been before that too. Yeah.
That's right. Southland Tales reference.
That's what people come here for. The Game Plan and let's see, Gridiron Gang. Oh, well, Southland Tales. You're not wrong. Yeah, 2006.
Hey-o.
I mean, he had not become Dwayne Johnson the way he is now.
Yes, right. He was like doing the Tooth Fairy and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because Game Plan is kind of Tooth Fairy-esque, right?
Oh, is that? Right. Yes.
Well, because he did Tooth Fairy 2010. Yeah, so kind of they went to him first to play Shazam, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like, I'd rather be Black Adam. So we're talking again, fall of 2007. My first kid, he's just a little shit factory. That's my boy back then. Yeah. And again, my movie comes out, he will be a sophomore in high school. He'll be old enough to start taking driver's ed.
Wow. Crazy. That's Hollywood,
my
folks.
timeline.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to me, that says, well, geez, like clearly Dwayne Johnson has a passion for this project.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, at this
Yes.
point, if he wanted out of it, he probably could.
He could have very easily tapped out, right?
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts on this, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So let's play some of the audio first, and then
Okay.
we can talk about it on the other side.
Outside when you ain't safe from.
In this world, there are heroes
I feel the pain of my city wherever I go.
and there are villains. Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
All right, so this is directed by oh boy, how's this? It's Jaume Colette Serra.
Okay.
I think that's how it's pronounced. I hope. He's done a few things with Dwayne Johnson. He did Jungle Cruise.
Which I did not see. Is that worth throwing on a Thursday night?
It's fine. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I don't think it was bad. I thought
Sure.
it was fine. Yeah, he did a bunch of like Liam Neeson action movies.
What?
Yeah, he did
Go
The Commuter.
on.
He did Nonstop. He did Unknown.
Okay.
He kind of he did Run All Night. He was doing the full Liam for a while there.
You had my attention. Now you have my curiosity, or however that expression goes.
Let's see. Just in terms of Liam Neeson, Unknown, Nonstop, Run All Night, The Commuter.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah.
So kind of a 4-movie streak. But he did Jungle Cruise and now Black Adam. And for people who don't know, Black Adam is traditionally, he is the arch enemy of Shazam, aka the original Captain Marvel.
Mm.
And he has, in the last 20 years, he's become sort of the DC version of Magneto. Kind of the conflicted bad guy who you sympathize with, you know?
I see.
So you can definitely see the appeal for Dwayne Johnson playing this. And if you see the character as depicted in the comics, Dwayne Johnson, absolutely.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Now that said, I'm coming at this knowing the character, knowing his world. So I've got one perspective, but you who know nothing,
Yes.
About the character, I mean.
Yeah.
I posed this question earlier. I'm like, how is this going to play for people who all they know is Dwayne Johnson? And so, what is your response to this trailer? Does it? How does it play for you?
I saw this in front of Jurassic Park last night, and I thought it was 2.5 minutes of gobbledygook.
That's my question.
I was like, this just probably isn't for me, and I feel bad because like I'm sure people who are fans of the character may like know who we're dealing with here and will have a level of excitement. And dude, that's awesome. I'm so glad. But like, all I saw was The Rock in front of a green screen with stuff and nothing that got my attention or my attention or curiosity.
Okay. See, that's like for me, the trailer did not blow me away.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, Black Adam though. I mean, he's an interesting character. I'd be willing, I want to see it just because of that. Like,
if you were to like make a movie and in that movie you couldn't do DC or Marvel and you had to make up what like a modern superhero trailer looked like and it was just generic, that's what it looked like to me.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean? It's like a guy and he's flying and then there's like a bunch of like CGI stuff flying around and then it's kind of sepia colored and now it's over. You're like that's kind of what it felt like to me.
See, and it's a shame because I mean this is a film where we had Pierce Brosnan.
Surprise.
His like superhero debut, right? I don't think he's ever played a superhero before. That's kind of interesting.
Right.
He plays Dr. Fate. And we got Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
I'm familiar with Hawkman, obviously, but yeah. See, and here's the thing. These things
before I don't mean to cut you off. One thing I will say about Hawkman, I think he has a great design in the comics, very iconic.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure can ever work in live action.
Yeah, sure.
Like, because I look at those pictures of Aldous Hodge and I'm like, it doesn't look great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that looks like it could go either way for me, where
Yeah.
it's either going to be, I mean, I'm certain I'm gonna have to see it. So for the show. But it's either gonna be one of those things where it actually has a good story, and I'm gonna go, oh wow, I was wrong. Like that, I'm invested in this. I care about these characters, and that was an adventure, and which is what I'm hoping for. Or it will be a Morbius where it just hits a bunch of beats and doesn't do anything beyond hitting the beats, and then it's over. So I'm hoping for the former.
I think for me, again, what I keep coming back to is this was like a passion project for Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
And he's clearly putting a lot of his own personal capital into this, and that has me intrigued because I think he tends to make smart choices, at least career-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got kind of a box he tends to stay in.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
So, and I don't think this is going to shatter that box. I think it'll, you're like, oh, he's so bad. He's the bad guy. I'm like,
right.
Bad guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think the plan is for this character to continue on. So I'm just very curious. Like, I honestly feel like your reaction is probably the majority of people's reactions.
I haven't seen, but
I'm willing to wager because you're one of them normies.
It's true. I am. But I think it's really hard in this moment with so many superhero films. I mean, you've got to find a way to stand out, and make me feel like, well, this is something I haven't seen, and this is why I should care. I think that's the main thing, and I did not get that from the trailer.
Well, and the fact is that this is opening in October, and then the second Shazam is in December.
Right.
And one presumes that the two are going to feed off each other in some way. Know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Sorry.
No, that's all.
Who was the character? I think it was at the end of Guardians 2 or something that's like teased in some sort of box with the.
Yes, Adam Warlock.
Oh, Adam Warlock. Okay, I was like, obviously it's different universes, but I remember thinking like, oh, is that the character or the? Yeah. But no.
He's going to be played by Will Poulter, I believe, in the third Guardians movie.
Okay. Oh, right. I saw a picture of him all jacked up, so that must be why.
Yeah, exactly. Like ridiculously jacked, and you're like,
yeah, where you're like, that's the kid from We're the Millers.
We're the Millers, right?
Yeah.
They put him on the Marvel smoothie diet,
Yeah, right. What's interesting, by the way? I saw a whole thing about this with like, usually, and it still is to many degrees, like, the actresses who have to have these impossible beauty standards, right? And I've seen now it being called attention to, like, a lot of male actors are having to have these like incredibly ridiculously cut bodies, and the actors themselves are being like, this is not achievable. Like, don't see a picture of me and think this is something a normal person can do. Like,
like Kumail Nanjiani said.
Yeah. It's like, I'm on an insane diet that has to be prepared for me. I'm unhappy. Like
I just want pizza.
Yeah. So it's just sort of, I think what I'm thinking of is, I think I saw Will Poulter say something about it. Like, this is not achievable. Like, this is insane and it will not last.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've posted online like Dwayne Johnson's diet and exercise regimen. And you just look at that, you're like, well, that is just insane. I mean, it's his job to do all that shit.
Right.
So if you gave me millions upon millions of dollars, I'd do that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the absence of that, I'm all about cheese, frankly. Melted cheese. Melted cheese is an integral part of my life.
Yeah.
You must pay me millions to cut that out of my diet.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, Hollywood.
You ain't getting us. Anyway, hey, let's take another short break and we'll come back and we will talk about the latest movie that's at the top of the box office.
All right.
And we are back. And hey, Brian, you know who else is back?
Who's that?
Those wacky dinosaurs populating what used to be Jurassic Park, but is now Jurassic World.
Dinosaurs?
That's true. they really did it. That son of a bitch, he did it.
The son of a bitch, he did it. But they're so preoccupied with whether or not they could. They didn't stop to think that they should.
Which seems to be sort of the critical consensus about this latest movie, Jurassic World Dominion.
It really. I've seen a lot of Ian Malcolm quotes attributed to this one. Yes.
Now, as we record this, it is heading into a pretty substantial opening weekend haul. It's looking at 132 million opening weekend. That's as of Friday afternoon, the projection. So we'll see how or if that changes.
Wow.
So not a bad haul. Now, this is a movie I saw this a couple days ago at the press screening, and you just saw it last night.
Mm-hmm.
You sent me photographic proof.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, because I was going to try to see it today, and then my schedule wouldn't allow it. So I was like, okay, there's a screening at 10 p.m. Let's do this.
Did you and Federica both go?
No, it was just me.
Wow, look at that. That's dedication, Brian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a little late. Yeah.
It was a little late and it was a little long.
Yeah. What is with every movie having to be 2 hours and 30 minutes these days?
You know, when Top Gun Maverick was like under 2, I was so happy.
Yeah.
It was really, I was like, that is a movie that is exactly the right length of time. So definitely, this one was probably longer than it needed to be. That said, well, I guess I can offer my thoughts.
Yes, please.
Right? You know, I've said, anybody who listens to the show knows I am an easy lay when it comes to these Jurassic movies.
Yes.
And it's weird because we've talked about this before. Like I think that we both revere, you and I, the first Jurassic, the Jurassic Park, first one.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not just, we don't just love it. Like it's revered. Like it's,
yeah, truly. Like
it's up there.
I think it's
on a pedestal.
It's virtually perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think that you and I have divergent views about the sequels, every single one of the sequels.
Yeah.
Right? Because my general reaction to pretty much every sequel is, well, nothing's going to even touch that first movie. And hey, you know, it's more, here's the more dinosaurs and, you know, we're in kind of the world and there we go.
I think that's a helpful perspective, honestly, to like enjoy the sequels. I really mean that. Like, you know, I think because I know even for the first 3, sure. I think being like, look, the first one's perfect. Great. And so now this is something else. Can you just enjoy what it is? I mean, being honest, I think that's honestly a helpful perspective.
So a comparison I've made previously is I look at like the original Planet of the Apes series of films.
Okay.
Okay. Like to me, I put Jurassic Park and Planet of the Apes in the similar terrain where they are perfect movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Planet of the Apes, there are 4 sequels that came after that, none of which even come close to that first movie. And in much the same way as the original Jurassic Park, it's almost impossible to replicate that experience. So for me, when I watch those sequels, I'm just like, well, it's more stories in this world. And I like this world, so I don't mind being back in here. Right. And so that's always been the case for me with the Jurassic films. And so when it came to Dominion, you know, it wasn't even in my head that like, oh, I hope this is up there with the original. I was just like, you know, we get to see Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. We get to see Ian Malcolm. They're all going to be together again for the first time. I'm just excited to see my old friends again, and I want to see them running away from dinosaurs, and just give me that.
Yeah.
And my key thing, this was my main thing I wanted going into the movie. I was like, I want my original characters to be important and valued within the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the movie ended, I was like, I got that. I got what I wanted.
Right.
And so I was like, it's fine with me, you know? That said, one thing this movie really drove home for me is I do not particularly care about Owen Grady and Claire Dearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really, I revisited the previous 2 films in the lead up to this, and in this one, it kind of really drove home. I was like, I'm tolerating them when we cut away from my characters, my Jurassic Park characters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't actively dislike them. I just don't particularly care for them.
I agreed.
You know, and so that was the weird place where I was at the end of this movie. I was like, I was like, yeah, it's all right. I guess, like that. That's where I was. I was like middle ground. But then I just saw everybody like taking turns shitting on it all over Twitter, critics, I mean, and I'm just like, I'm not understanding what I missed that was so awful. So I'm very curious where you landed, because I didn't think there was enough here to get that angry about.
That is so funny you say that, because actually I tried to write down my thoughts, because as mentioned, I saw it kind of late, and I am fully
so funny.
I'm willing to admit that some tiredness may have come into my experience a little bit. I checked my watch. Like, I was like, how can there possibly be an hour left of this? And then I remember looking down and I was like, how could only 10 minutes have possibly passed?
So funny.
So anyway, I wrote down my thoughts so I wouldn't forget them. I thought of that moment from The Simpsons too, when they're like, Bart and Milhouse are like, let's go crazy Broadway style. And they're watching Cats, and Milhouse is in his seat and he's like squirming and he's like looking all around. Like, I think that's kind of how I felt.
It's so funny.
But no, what I wrote down related to what you just said is, I don't know if there's enough wrong with this movie to actually warrant hate, but I don't think it's going to get any more of my thoughts after this discussion.
Sure.
So,
and I think that's probably almost like, that's like the normal reaction, is it's just kind of going through these blockbuster paces, and then it's done. And it's not a movie I expect to revisit a ton.
Yeah.
But I certainly, like, I don't know that it warrants, like, I just saw people saying it's the worst blockbuster in 10 years.
That's not true. That's not true. But I did find it to be a disappointment, though, I will say. And I think because of all the ingredients that were on the kitchen counter.
Sure, absolutely.
And
actually, just to clear, I think the marketing really did a disservice to what's actually in the movie. Because I think people are expecting like a World War Z with dinosaurs out of this thing.
Sure. Well, I mean, and certainly with the ending of 2.
To be fair, that is sort of what the end of the second one may have primed people for.
Yeah.
And they kind of steered entirely clear of that.
Yeah. You know what's funny too? Before I saw it, well, no, I'll get into that later. But no, I just going back to the ingredients analogy, I don't have any affection for the Chris Pratt or Bryce Dallas Howard character.
Yeah.
Or affection is not the right word. I mean, I like them as performers. I have no problem with them as performers, but I am just not attached in any way to those characters.
That's right.
And so their emotional adventure in this movie, or their plot, I just did not connect with, and that's a huge problem. Like what they're after should really, really matter to me, and it didn't. And I gotta say, with the original trio, it was so nice to see them. However, I almost felt like Ian Malcolm didn't even feel like a real person. He just felt like a collection of, wouldn't it be funny if, like, Jeff Goldblum said this or did that or whatever. You know what I mean? And there were some moments, the way he was behaving, I was like, I don't know, he doesn't even feel like a person. Like in the first movie, he gets mad, he gets indignant and he hurry, like he feels really invested. But in this one, he just feels like Jeff Goldblum, and they set him up and put up a camera and we're like, just kind of like riff a little bit here,
That's
and
really funny.
And I will say though that there were some cool set pieces. I thought the motorcycle set piece, which you can see in the trailer, was awesome.
Yeah,
like that.
It was different. It was something different.
It was so cool. It was like Bourne Identity with dinosaurs chasing Bourne on a motorcycle, having to get the motorcycle into a plane that's taking off. I mean, chef's kiss. Like that was awesome. But at the same time, there were other set pieces that felt so limp. Like there's a moment where someone needs to type something into a keypad, lest the people on the other side of this door, meet peril. And I was like, it popped out at me how tensionless it was. And because first of all, it was Ian Malcolm, I'll say, the keypad, but he just seemed so not stressed out.
Yeah.
Like he was just he was kind of making jokes, and then, or even not making jokes, but he was like in a sort of a mood that I was like, I don't know, come on, man, snap out of it. Like these people need you. But then it reminded me of that moment when Ellie Sattler in Jurassic Park 1 has to get the generator going again. And my gosh, watch that movie with the sound off. Watch that scene. Look what the camera is doing. Look what the editing is doing. Look at the way that she's like got to hit all the buttons in and the camera goes down. Like that's the one that matters. Like I know we're talking about Steven Spielberg and we're talking about what I think would agree is a perfect film.
Yeah.
But it was just brought to light. I mean, it was just holding a mirror to like this one, like, wow, this scene is really not, it's lacking. And I should really be feeling a lot more in this moment. And I think I bring that up and talk about it so much because I think that encapsulates, unfortunately, a lot of how I felt about the direction in this movie, which is surprising to me because I revisited Jurassic World this week.
Yeah.
And in preparation, and I was like, this is a pretty well-directed movie. It feels very intentional and everything was thought out and there was tension, like this thing's over here, that thing's over there. They better hurry, like kind of a thing. And I felt like this one almost felt like a 3.5 hour movie that they're like, we have got to get this down, Yeah. Cause like the opening act just felt like really breathless in a bad way, like,
and what's crazy, Brian, is they released the prologue,
right?
And they showed it in theaters. It's even online, and that's not even in the movie.
That's right. Which maybe that was actually going to be a scene, and then they felt
I'm certain it was. And then they were like, you know what? Just cut it. We don't need it. It's already out in the world. Forget it.
Yeah. So it was like a real mixed bag, but though mostly I would say sadly kind of a disappointment for me again, because just knowing what it could have been, and you're like, man, this is really what you ended up with. Like it just feels like for the grand event of bringing those, the 3 iconic characters back, and I don't know. It just didn't add up to. It felt really underwhelming to me, and that just bummed me out. Like there's a scene where like a huge airplane crashes on ice. And I forgot it was in it until I started preparing for this episode. And I was like, that's a problem. You know what I mean?
It's the structure of the story is such that you have all these divergent threads that all kind of intersect. I think that the problem I had is, and I should say, I think I was generally more engaged than you, but I was in more of like a theme park ride kind of headspace.
Totally.
But I'm like, well, if we've gone from, there's no more island, the dinosaurs are loose on the earth, to, oh, here we are on this big game preserve where all the dinosaurs are. I'm like, well, that's the same thing.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you know what I mean? You haven't fundamentally changed the dynamic here.
Yeah.
Now, that said, I feel that the sort of the thing driving the story, which is this idea of these locusts, there's the idea is that you have these mutated locusts that are genetically engineered, and they're wiping out the food supply on Earth or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's an interesting kernel of an idea there.
Yeah, it's an interesting extension of the mythology that is at work in these movies.
An extension. But the problem is that that's sort of like looking past the larger issue of the fact that there are dinosaurs everywhere.
Which is far more interesting. By the way, so something that I loved, which they did not, as you're saying, they didn't really milk as much as I thought they could have or should have, but was showing the whole, well, dinosaurs are a part of society now. And there's like, this sort of majestic moment at the beginning where this construction site, they need to move a dinosaur to work. And so they're like, all right. And I was like, that's what I'll probably, a handful of moments I'll remember from this movie. That was one of them.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And I think,
sorry.
Just real quick. I mean, that the sense of assuming these dinosaurs are reproducing and they're enough of a presence on Earth that you can't just, call a cab to get away from them, how does that change life? And I think there was an opportunity to delve more deeply into that. And I think it does a disservice to the movie that they didn't. Again, just to talk around myself, as a concept, I don't even mind the big game preserve idea. Like, okay, this is a set piece, but I think what it does is make the movie feel more insular when it should feel a little bit more global.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I agree. I think, what it's really coming down to as I sort of think about it, I think there was a lack of emotional connection for me. Like I wasn't emotionally invested in what they needed to accomplish. I mean, I know it's almost unfair to compare to the first one, but at the same time, maybe it isn't because this is the same series. But like when you think about the arc of Sam Neill's character, Alan Grant, and then you get to that moment in the tree with the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not like, oh, I want to skip this scene. Like you enjoy that scene because you like seeing them settle, like nestle into him. And he's like, what? Like it's cute. And then by the end, you've earned them, asleep in the helicopter, I think some blockbusters just forget, like they don't have the patience for that stuff, but it's like, that's the only way we're going to care. And if you do it right, we won't be bored. And I just feel like I didn't care, like I say, about Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's thing. But then also I thought the lack of tension, I think I do equate tension, not just action and melee, but tension with these films, with set pieces. And again, the first one, I mean, think of that kitchen scene. I mean, that's for all time, that kitchen sequence with the velociraptors and the dropping the spoon and wriggling around a corner and then it poking its head through and I think even Jurassic World has that stuff. And there's even in Fallen Kingdom, there's that sequence, with the dinosaurs at the house and on the rooftop and the tiles and and I felt like this one lacked that well done tension and it just became stuff, See,
I think for me, as it pertains to sort of dinosaur tension, the closest we get is where Bryce Howard is in the preserve and she's trying to escape from that furry looking, whatever, feathery thing,
Yep.
And she's in the water.
Yes.
I thought that was really well done.
Actually, I wrote down the things that I loved. I said the motorcycle sequence. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was really exciting. And I thought it had an awesome beginning, middle, and end, the sequence itself. And then her stuff where she's in there's, I don't know if we want to say what exactly it is, but like,
do we want to talk spoilers?
Yeah, but yes.
let's just do that. Let's pass the spoiler wall. We can talk some more.
Let's do it.
Spoilers.
I was going to say specifically is when she's in the ejector seat and the camera stays on her. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really well done. It made me feel like in it, right? I thought that was really good. And then yes, when the camera stays with her too, as that dinosaur, which I guess can't see very well or whatever, and she has to slowly get into the water and submerge her head, and then you see her below the water. I thought that was really good too.
I thought that was effective in terms of feeling the tension of that dinosaur, and I thought that the freaky feathery dinosaur on the ice, which I think is a velociraptor, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
that Chris Pratt and DeWanda Wise that they face off against. I thought visually it was very effective.
That was scary. I actually thought that was a really scary confrontation.
Yes. And the way it's like swimming underneath.
Yeah, it's unnerving.
Ice.
And yes, then when it goes under the water, yeah.
So that, like, for me, there was a couple of pretty good set pieces in there that drew my attention. And again, for me, what it came down to again was seeing the legacy characters again and feeling like they mattered in the story.
Can I ask you this?
Yes.
How did you feel about the Alan Ellie romance? Did it work for you?
That's interesting because we've talked about this before, where I bought them as a couple in the first movie, and then when the third one says they're no longer a couple, I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
It bummed me out, but I bought it. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely didn't spend 20 years pining for their reunion.
No.
That said, it felt a little fan servicey to me to get them back together.
Okay, I would have been completely fine if it had totally worked for you, but yeah, I swear when they kiss at the end, I saw Sam Neill and Laura Dern being like, okay,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
it felt like, oh, this is because fans were upset when they got broken up.
It was kind of funny at the beginning too, where she's sort of recruiting him in that tent. And he's like, the kids are in college, and he's like, how's Jeff or whoever, and she's like, oh, just kind of shakes her head, no. And I was like, it's just so. I mean, I don't know how else. I was like, well,
this is going to end with them back together. I was like, there's no way this.
There's no easy way to do that. But I was just thinking, then you might as well just lean into it. I was joking about it with Federica today. I was like, should have been like, oh no, he was hit by a train. And he's just like, oh, that's terrible. I was like, yeah, but he survived, but he was thrown in front of another train. Like that I would have respected.
Yeah, it was as soon as we had that scene and he's got a little picture of her and his
yes.
I was like, look, there's no way this movie doesn't end with them together romantically.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, I guess that's what we're doing. It was like that for me.
Yeah.
And again, it's totally, to me, it's like a matter of perspective, because the same stuff I've seen people complaining about, I've been like, yeah, whatever. Like the fact, the sheer coincidence of all three characters somehow wearing the same color ensemble.
Holy crap! I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, each of them.
But you know what? It probably did spark in my head without me even realizing it. That is so funny.
It's the thing when Ellie, she takes off her sunglasses, and it's like the thing that we saw before.
Yes.
And people are like, that's so dumb. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Am I wrong? I'm just so much of this. I'm like, whatever.
I think the extreme reactions are kind of silly. However, I will say, because that was in the trailer, and I did think ooh, I like that. I like the symmetry. Yeah, but then when I saw it in the movie and what she was looking at, I was like, oh, it's for that. What I mean? That last time we saw that reaction was for the first time these paleontologists saw a live dinosaur, and it just felt a little oh.
Yeah.
I will admit I did feel that.
Sorry, I cut you off. I think you were saying something.
Oh no, that's all.
The other thought I had is, and this is a random thing, but the whole plot hinges on this idea of these locusts, right? These giant freaking, which I will say, those are goddamn terrifying. I would want to see one of those.
Dude, I don't want to be anywhere near those things.
Yeah. So you got, and to their credit, they decided to give Henry Wu kind of a face turn, because the last movie made him like Oil Can Harry almost,
Yeah.
He's like, I want to make this right. I don't know what you did, Henry, that somehow led to this.
Right.
What's the chain of events that leads to these mutant locusts? That's number one.
Yeah.
But the movie ends with him. He's like, I want to make amends, and he finds a cure or whatever. He says, I just need one locust, and it'll spread through a whole generation. I just thought it'd be really funny if at the end of the film, right, you see him walk into the field, and he releases this locust, and then it joins the swarm. And I was like, it'd be so funny if they become a Voltron locust. And he's like, oh shit. Yeah. I was totally thinking that, because you see them all in this pattern.
Yeah. That's so funny. I was actually thinking, don't you got anything quicker? What's got to happen with this?
He's like, within a generation. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Other thought. Okay. Yeah. Lewis Dodgson
Yes, my gosh, we got to talk about him.
So he's played by Campbell Scott in this film because the original actor is a sex predator.
It's not funny, but that is just not a sentence I expected.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I mean, that's why they didn't bring that guy back.
Awful. Yes.
So they what do you think about him being like a Steve Jobs character?
That doesn't bother me. I mean, that's kind of in vogue, I'd say, at the moment. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, those are the type of people you could see being sort of disconnected, and how do you amass that kind of wealth? And
I thought you were going to be like, nobody cares.
Nobody cares?
Yeah, like Newman says in the first one.
Oh, Dodson. You know, it's funny for me personally. I love the show The Food That Built America on History Channel, and he's the narrator. So when he showed up and started speaking, I was like, holy crap. It's the guy who taught me everything about Burger King. He's just like, Burger King turned into a $23 billion a year industry. Like, I was like, wow.
What's funny is his character, like, you're like, well, this guy's going to be awful because he's like the Barbasol can guy, right? Yep. But he has this like tantrum at the end of the movie.
Yes, yeah.
Where I was like, well, that's a choice. Like, he
had a lot of that's a choices, and I liked it actually because I couldn't put my finger on him. Like he would do these random things, or he would like suddenly get mad, or like he was so calm, but then sometimes he would get snarky or something, and you're like, ooh. Yeah, like it was just.
He's abandoning the facility or whatever, and he grabs his briefcase and shit, and he grabs that Barbasol can.
Yes,
and I'm like, is that like a cherished memento for like what's the?
Yeah, I can't imagine those things are still in there.
No, it's like hey, remember that time I had that one guy do that? Like, it's so weird, right? Because it has significance to us.
Yeah, that's a good the
audience. But why would it have any meaning to the character?
That is it was just a means of transportation one week in his life.
Right.
Yeah,
I did at the very end when he gets pounced on by those Dilophosauruses. I would have thought it was really funny if the camera just pans over and there's Nedry's Force Ghost, just like. It took 30 years, but he got his revenge.
Someone do it. Make the fan edit. I would. I want to watch that. I did enjoy that though. That scene was good. And,
I mean, but this is what I'm saying. I like all this stuff. I was like, this is just like fan service palooza, and I think it was just my mindset. I was like, I choose to take it as it's being given, and I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about it. That was how I chose to engage with most of it.
Yeah, I'm just the type of person that can't help but think of like,
no, that's good.
Like
there would makes be you better at this than me.
Well, no. I just mean, again, I just go back to the ingredients. Like, it's there, and you could have baked a better cake, and that's disappointing to me.
Sure.
Having said that, when we do the commentary for this in 10 years, I have a feeling once I am removed from this moment and the expectations and thinking about what it could have been and just seeing what it is, I'm sure it won't be a bad, pulpy 2-hour TNT movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah.
See, I think for me, what you're describing, like, I already got there while watching.
Yeah, and that's probably a good way to approach this, honestly.
I was just like, I know what this is,
Yeah.
And it helps, I've said this before, I went with my oldest who, he says it to this day. He's like, Jurassic Park is my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And for him, it's just, hey, it's that thing. Oh, look, it's that thing, and he's sort of just taking it as it comes.
Which is, I'm so happy. That's what he felt, especially if Jurassic Park's his favorite movie.
Yeah. And my wife, she went with the other kids yesterday evening, and they all came back and they're like, oh, and did you see this part with and the Dimetrodon and this and that. And I'm like, hey,
there you go.
They're the audience,
There you go.
The other thought I had is it felt, at least insofar as the legacy characters, it felt like they very much looked at the Star Wars model and were like, we don't want to do that.
There was a moment where I thought, maybe it was Malcolm. I thought he was going to die.
With the fire.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I was like, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Hamza had the same thing. He's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so, Brian, they didn't even kill off Rexy, the T-Rex, at the end.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I thought they did.
Yeah,
at first.
They go back and they show her eye. They're like, no, she's still alive. Because she's a fan favorite character also.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I would have been upset if they had killed the T-Rex, because I would have been like, "You're stupid T-Rex. BS new CG dinosaur." Like, well, I know the first one's CG too, but you know what I'm saying? Like the whole like a T-Rex isn't enough, so they had to keep inventing. I mean, it's almost like meta the way they talk about it in Jurassic World, like more teeth.
Yeah.
And so I've sort of like rejected these, like, oh, the T-Rex isn't cool enough. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean they did that with the Jurassic Park 3, where they had the Spinosaurus kill the Rex on that island, right?
Yeah.
But this, like specifically this T-Rex, she's the first one from that movie, the original one.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that was the one, but I was like, no, if a T-Rex gets killed by this new thing that some room thought up of, I would not have it. But it's funny, they did do that whole shot, right, where the T-Rex is framed through that circular water feature and it looks like the logo for the movie.
Yep.
Didn't hate it. Thought it was kind of, I'm sure some people are gonna like complain, but I was like, that's funny.
It's interesting too, because the movie ends at a place where it's like, yeah, so the dinosaurs are here and I just got to coexist and that's it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that and I was like, I guess the way I'm looking at that, I'm like, I guess that's kind of how you have to end it, right? Like, I don't know what you do,
Yeah. Before the movie started, I was thinking like, how in the world did they solve the problem at the end of the first or the second one?
Yeah, like I mean, it's too big. And here's the thing, because they're like, oh, the end of the Jurassic Era. I'm like, that just means we're going to be back in 10 years with Cretaceous Park or some other shit. Like, I mean,
yeah, sure.
I mean, there's no way this is the final movie. They're gonna at some point they're gonna come back to it. So they're obviously trying to leave that possibility open.
Yeah.
But like where this one ends, I was like, well, I mean, I guess it's a fine place to end it. Like I don't have a burning need for more after this,
I mean, I don't either. I'm always
you're clearly checked out.
You know what though? I'll say this. Similar to like the Terminator movies, I do like the whole, idea of it all. And so I just keep waiting for them to make a good one again.
Yeah.
And so honestly, if they did make another one of these, I would just hope it's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, real quick. Sorry, this is the last note I have, and I'm kind of actually, I think I already know your feelings on this, but it's sort of funny. I was gonna watch all three this week, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and this, and I wasn't able to get to 2. And so when this movie started, and they're like, "Well, Maisie, you old clone, you," I was like, I did remember that. But the way that they're like living in this cabin and like, it sort of reminded me of that feeling I had. I went and saw Fantastic Beasts 2. I've never seen 1, but I saw 2 because my coworkers wanted to go. And I remember walking in and being like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know why that guy hates this person. I don't know, whatever. And it's sort of like, wow, I can't imagine if someone just happened to miss Jurassic World 2 and came into this, they'd be like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, you do kind of need it. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think they almost expected me to already be caught up on them as a family unit. And I felt like,
I mean, but that's not really set up necessarily in the second one.
Agreed. And so I think that's what was missing for me in this, where, I mean, look, they're human beings. I get why they care about her, but like, I could have used a quiet moment between the two of them, Pratt and Howard, maybe like looking at her picture and thinking they're never going to see her again and being like, we failed. Like, she wasn't even our daughter. Like, no, she was our daughter and we loved her like a daughter. And
that's good, Brian.
Right. Like, and then you're like, oh my gosh, they gotta go. You gotta get her. Like, they never had that moment. And so then it was like, well, then I just like, I remember there's a moment where Maisie's like just wandering around with the legend, the legacy characters. And I was like, this is weird, right? Like this just this kid wandering around, like she should be like, I gotta find my parents, and they should be like, I gotta find my daughter. Like just that whole component, I think would have elevated the story a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's my last complaint.
I think that just goes to the sort of the fact that the new characters they've always been sort of functionaries of the plot.
Sure.
So in both movies 1 and 2, it was never like, oh man, I want to see what Owen is up to. It was like, well, we're in this story and he's the guy, so I guess we're following him.
Yeah.
And that again, that disconnect didn't really hit me until this one, where I'm like, no, go back to Alan and Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what they're doing, because honestly, I just loved spending time with them again.
I did too. And you know what? I thought it was like a mixture. There was a little part of me when they were in their sort of undercover, dressing up like doctors, sneaking into a a hospital kind of scene. There was a little part of me is like, I've seen this trope so many times and I wish they had thought of something else for them to do. At the same time, it was fun watching them behave like themselves, where she is so, like, they say in the first movie, so tenacious, and he's just like what are we doing?
Well, and to that point, I honestly, I liked seeing that in a different context than we're used to them in.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, like we're used to them, it's everything's dinosaur related, and this was them doing something different. It's connected to that. Yes. But it's them doing something new in terms of this grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I actually did want to mention the actor who plays and this is terrible. I don't know his name. The character is I don't even remember, but the actor's name is Mamadou Atiye. Ramsey, thank you.
Yep.
I actually really liked him in this. I
did too.
Interesting presence. Yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he was charismatic. I like he's an actor. I was like, I like this guy. Like, I want to see him in other stuff.
Ramsey.
Yeah.
Or Mamadou. I agree. He pops.
He's been in other stuff
in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the main, like, there's this idea that he's been working against Dodgson all along.
Yes.
And the idea, like, I just feel like we needed a little bit more juice under that.
Totally. I would have loved to have seen this underground network within Biosyn.
Yeah.
Like revealing themselves to Ellie and Alan and becoming allies. Like that would have been a little, like you say, perfectly. Yeah. Juice that a little more.
Because essentially we find out that Ramsey is the one who brought in Malcolm.
Yes.
And said, hey, all this stuff is going on and you got to bring them. Like that's my sense, right?
Yeah.
And that's all interesting. You're talking about Malcolm. I actually kind of liked the scene where Dodgson's like, oh, you're fired, Ian. And Malcolm does this whole thing like, well, y'all, whatever. He Goldblums it up. I forget what he says, but it just felt very, I don't know. It felt in character for me.
Yeah.
So I bought it, But the going back to Ramsey, like that moment at the end when essentially he's just kind of staring down Dodgson.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something interesting there, but I just felt like, does he feel betrayed by him? What's the reason for that?
Right.
Or has he always been against him? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, so that's where we are with Jurassic World. Did we cover all your notes?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I'm looking now on IMDb at the cast, and I'm like, oh, I'm forgetting all about all these people.
Omar Sy, it was cool to see him. Or Sy,
yeah, happy to see him again. And then that one.
Well, actually, and we mentioned Henry Wu. I want to say I did like what the movie gave him to do, which is that sense of like I've made a mistake. However,
yeah.
Again, the focusing on the locusts feels like the wrong thing because the dinosaurs feels like a more pressing thing.
Right. It was kind of fun to see like dinosaurs in traffic. Like there's sort of a NPR sort of piece at the beginning, like a reporter, and they're showing clips of like, I don't even remember. It's like someone, like a jogger being chased by pterodactyls, and then someone on a street, and there's like a big dinosaur in front of them. Like that stuff was interesting.
See, and all of that to me just says, what else is there left to do? Like, what stories are there left to tell?
Yeah, I mean, if they're just gonna live among us, usually, it's like, how do we contain this? But that's over.
Yeah, I guess that's it then.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, if this is the end, then that's fine.
Yeah.
And if this is the end of our episode, I guess that's fine too.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, it's like a thumbs up with an asterisk. It's a thumbs down from Brian.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, am I going to stop on it on TV sometime and watch a couple scenes? I'm certain I will. But like, yeah, that's just, unfortunately.
But you know what's funny? That's literally where I'm at. But that's where the asterisk comes from.
Sure.
The thumbs up the asterisk. I wouldn't mind revisiting it. Somewhere down.
Hey, this was fun. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. Like seeing this so late and by myself, and like this is just such a blast getting to talk through this with you.
You know what's funny is I watched it Tuesday night, and then last night I bought tickets for myself and the wife and kids, whatever, and then I told Amina, I was like, I'm good not rewatching it.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I wasn't like I don't want to. I was like I do want to, but later.
Later, yeah.
Like I'll get to it some point down the line, but I just don't feel the need to see it right away.
Yeah,
2 days later.
Yeah,
and so that's my review. I enjoyed it in the moment. I didn't feel the need to watch it again 2 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as you said, I really enjoyed the discussion, so I'm glad we were able to have it.
Yeah.
And hey, let us know your thoughts. This has proved to be a very polarizing movie. I still feel that people who are calling it the worst blockbuster of the last 10 years should probably watch more blockbusters.
I concur with that.
And there we go. And we will be back soon. We'll be back next week with a commentary track episode, hopefully, and then we'll be back later in the month talking about I don't know, whatever's coming out.
A lot of stuff coming. We got
Lightyear.
I was just gonna say Lightyear, and then I know Thor's coming soon. And by the way, dude, I am stoked for Nope.
Oh yeah.
That every time I see that trailer, I'm like, that just is so my jam. I cannot wait for that movie.
Looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah.
And as always, if you have any questions or comments for us, please send them to moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. If you're looking for me online, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. It's also my website, justadded.com. And you can look for my writing at the San Francisco Chronicle. My review of Ms. Marvel, the first 2 episodes, is up there, so please check that out. Brian, what do you have going on?
Well, Puppy Dog Pals still airing, Disney Plus, Disney Junior, and I can say Star Wars. Finally, it just feels very liberating to say it. But that's still the next spring 2023. But I just had to do it because I can.
Because you can. That's a good feeling.
Yep.
On behalf of Brian, my name is Zachy Hassan. This has been Movie Film 249. We got 250 coming very shortly. Like always, please keep your questions and comments coming. And thank you once again, everybody, for listening and for subscribing and for spreading the word. We really do appreciate that. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast.